My name's Peggy. This is a video about my experience as an au pair in Shanghai, China, where I lived for 3 months with a family, helping to look after their kids. I did the experience through Star Exchange Au Pair Agency, and I thought the agency was really great with support and anything I needed, and I think it was a great experience, a great way to experience Chinese culture, not simply as a tourist but more from the perspective of a family in a more real and authentic way. So first I'm going to talk about the culture shock I experienced when I reached the country and how I settled in and became used to it. So first of all, the sheer amount of people in China was a real shock. It was just much more than I'd ever seen before in England or in Europe. That was something I had to get used to. And also the language, the tone of the language can be quite aggressive and sound quite angry, I think, to European ears. And that's made me think sometimes that the family were always arguing when really that was just the way they communicated. So that was something I had to get accustomed to, the tone of the language. Also the fact that no one really spoke any English at all, and that made everyday life a little bit tricky at the beginning because I couldn't order in a restaurant or bargain to buy something, but that got a lot easier once I'd had a few Mandarin lessons, and luckily the agency arranged for us to have lessons in Mandarin twice a week, and that really helped me with that aspect of the culture shock. I would advise anyone going just to try and pick up a little bit of Mandarin before they go. Just download Duolingo or some kind of app, and also make sure you have a translation app when you go, because sometimes the family, their English might not stretch to understanding what's something you need or something you want in the house, and it's good to have a Chinese translation app for that. The culture shock it came after a few weeks, so there was a lot of excitement and adrenaline, and everything was really new and wonderful at the beginning, and then I got a bit homesick and started to kind of just not enjoy it so much for a few weeks, and then it sort of plateaued and I became used to the language and the amount of people and the roads that are so different from in Europe. You do have to get used to the road lanes and organisation of traffic and just things like that. But that all wore off after a while, and I really started to enjoy it properly. I'm going to talk about my daily life as well and what I had to do with the children every day. So every day I would go in the car with the kids on the school run, and we would go over English in the car. So that was a bit of vocabulary. Then I would have the day to myself while the kids were in kindergarten. And 3 days a week, when the kids had extracurricular activities, I would be on my own with my own time until 6:30 in the evening, so I had loads of free time. And I filled it with tourist activities or days out or trying restaurants and hanging out with other au pairs that I was introduced to through the agency or through other people. There was quite a big au pair network in Shanghai, and because there aren't so many foreigners, people tend to be really friendly and quite open to hanging out if they do meet an English speaker, which is really nice. Then when the kids came back from school, I would have to be home and I would have to help out with their lessons for the rest of the day, and I would try and give them an English lesson, which didn't have to be that structured really. I didn't have loads of lesson planning to do. Because my kids were only 5 as well, 5-year-old twins, a lot of the stuff we did was drawing or playing. As long as we were speaking English, it was all useful. So it really depends how old your kids are, I think, how much structured English lesson planning you need to do. And you should talk to the family about that before you go, so you know what's going to be really expected of you. On Saturdays I had my day off, so I would go out and do something by myself or with some friends. And on Sundays it really depended what the family was doing. So if they were staying in, I would stay at home and play with the kids. If they were going out, I might accompany them to go and play golf or go to the cinema or football or something like that. But I would stress that you really need to be flexible and not consider your rota or your schedule as like set in stone, because it most definitely isn't, and family life can be quite chaotic and spontaneous, so you never know what you'll really be doing every day. My favourite experience was a trip that I got to take to Beijing, which was really great. I went there by myself, and it was a great city, kind of the romantic image of China I had in my head when I went. And the food was great, and I got to see the Great Wall, and I'd massively recommend it to anyone who might be able to get there. I think it was my favourite part of the experience. Overall, I thought the program was a great way to experience Chinese culture from the inside, so you get to see all the kind of cultural differences that you wouldn't get to see just as a tourist. For example, I had to wear slippers every day in the house, which I wouldn't even have known that was a thing had I not lived with a family in China. The agency were really great with me throughout the experience. They helped me with medical insurance or anything I needed like that. And I had a great agency representative, Lisa, in Shanghai, who became a real friend, and it was nice to have a Chinese speaking friend there that I could go and do things with. So overall, I'd recommend it to anyone. I just think make sure you get a family who you fit well with, and you know what's going to be expected of you when you get there. Okay, thanks for watching my video.